Hi everyone, and welcome to Mitel phone training. My name is Josh with Dominion Voice and Data, and today I'm going to be showing you 3 of the most popular and highest quality IP phones available on the market today. To my left I have a Mitel 6920, to my right I have a Mitel 6930, in the middle I have a Mitel 6930 with a PKM add-on. This is a programmable key module that's primarily used for front desk staff for speed dialing. On my left I have a Mitel 6920. This is going to be a base model phone that is a standard for most users today. If I look at the 6920 and the 6930, we can see there are a few differences between these phones. Primarily being on the side of the display here, we have 6 extra hotkeys, 2 extra soft keys at the bottom of the display, a slightly larger display, and this phone is Bluetooth capable. Now we're going to jump right into the features and functions of your new IP phones. Here we have the Mitel 6930 IP phone. Starting in the top left of the display, we can see an extension number. This extension number is going to be the extension associated with this particular phone. All phones in your building will have an extension number associated. On the sides of the display here, we can see 6 hotkeys and 6 hotkeys. These hotkeys are going to primarily be used for speed dialing. However, if I lift the receiver off, we can see here the line indicator light illuminates, showing that the line is currently in use. If I had a second phone call coming in, we would see the second line indicator light flash, showing that a call is currently coming in. Moving below the display, we have 5 soft keys. These soft keys are going to change dependent on the menu that you're in and the status of the phone. We'll see more on that a little bit later. To the right of the soft keys, we have the navigation toggle. I can go up, down, left, right, or select. Below the navigation toggle on the other side of the dial pad, we have the contacts key. If I click on the contacts key, again, we can use the silver navigation toggle to scroll down between the different menu options. We see the blue highlighted section move along with our movements on the navigation toggle. Here we have a personal phone book, a mobile phone book, and a corporate phone book. For personal, you could put in mom or dad or the kids. For mobile, you could enter mobile numbers if you choose to do so. For corporate, if we scroll down here, we can see a soft key comes up with the search function. If I click on the search function, we see a search bar pop up at the top. We can enter a user within our organization whom we want to find their contact info, enter their name, press search, and their credentials and their contact information would pop up right here. If I come right below the contacts key, we have a missed call key. If I click on the missed call key, it takes us directly to missed calls. Again, you can use the silver navigation toggle to scroll between the different menu options here, such as receive calls, outgoing calls, missed calls, or at the very top, call history. Again, if we wanted to scroll to the right, we could select the user that we wanted to call back. Below the missed call key, we have the voicemail key. The first time we click the voicemail key, it will prompt us to enter our new password. After you enter your new password, you'll be required to record your new personal greeting. Once we enter our new password and it is saved, from that point on, all we would have to do is simply click the voicemail hotkey, and then it would prompt us for our password. We would enter that password, and we would be free to listen to our new voicemails. Below the voicemail key, we have the settings key. For the most part, we have 3 features in here that we'd really like to show you today. The first one being call forwarding. If we use the soft key here to hit select for call forwarding, we can see we have an area at the very top of the screen where we can enter our mobile number if we choose to do so. If we use the navigation toggle to scroll to the right, we can hit the save button. After hitting the save button, anytime this phone receives calls coming in, it will ring your mobile number as well. To disengage call forwarding to your mobile number, you simply would need to uncheck the box in the top right corner and push the Save soft key. If I come to the right and I scroll all the way over, we have audio. For audio, we're able to change the ringtones on the phone, or we can also change incoming ringtones on the phone for particular users or numbers. To the right of audio, we have display. If I click on the soft key that says select for display, I can also change the brightness level. If I use the soft keys here, I can turn the brightness up or I can turn the brightness down, and then I would hit the save button soft key here in order to save the configuration that I've chosen. Below the settings key, we have an audio key. If we were receiving a call and the call was slightly too loud, we could simply turn down the ringtone here or turn up the ringtone. If I was in a call currently and my receiver was slightly too loud, I could simply turn the receiver down, or if I needed it louder, I could just turn it up. On the right-hand side of the dial pad, I have an in-call key. This in-call key is going to be primarily used for headsets and speakerphone. If I was on speakerphone and I wanted to end the call, I simply just hit the in-call key. This is also important if you are in an active call and you don't want the user on the other end of the phone to hear you hang up the receiver. You could simply click the in-call key and then hang up the phone, and they would not hear the rough sound of the receiver hanging up. Below the in-call key, we have the outgoing calls. Again, you can use the silver navigation toggle here to move between the different menu options, such as received, outgoing, missed calls, or call history. And again, we can scroll to the right and move between these different menu options. Below the outgoing call key, we have the hold key. If we are in an active call and we want to place the other user on hold, we would simply hit that key and they would be placed on hold. Below the hold key, we have the mute key. If I'm in an active call and I want to place the other individual on mute, I would simply hit this key and they would be placed on mute. If I wanted to unmute them, I would just simply hit the key one more time. At the very bottom, we can see there's a speakerphone key. This is also a headset key. This is a multifunctional button, and we can turn on either speakerphone, or if we had a wired headset or a Bluetooth headset hooked to this Mitel 6930, we could turn the dial tone on the headset by simply clicking this button. We hope you enjoyed the features and functions of your new IP phone. So to transfer a call, if we were in an active call currently, and say we had Mr. Williams on the phone and he wanted to speak to Sarah in the kitchen, all we would simply have to do is hit the transfer soft key here, enter Sarah's extension, and once Sarah picks up the phone, if she accepts the call, we would simply hang up the handset. At this point in time, the call would be immediately pushed from this phone to Sarah's phone, and the transfer would be complete. So to transfer a call to voicemail, if we were in an active call with, say, Mr. Williams, and Mr. Williams wanted to speak to Sarah in the kitchen, we would simply hit the transfer button like we did before. We would hit Sarah's extension, and when Sarah picks up the phone, she says, "I'm very busy, I'm in meetings all day, can you please send Mr. Williams to my voicemail inbox?" We agree. All we would have to do is hit the soft key here that says back to held. At this point in time, we would be back on the phone with Mr. Williams. We would explain the situation and we would transfer Mr. Williams to voicemail. To do this, we would simply hit the transfer key, we would hit the voicemail key, and then Sarah's extension. Immediately, the call is pushed from this phone to Sarah's voicemail inbox, and the transfer is complete. Here we have the MiCollab app that is available on iOS or Android. If we click on the small app up here that looks like two intertwined rings, it'll take us to our home screen. This is call history at the bottom, and then we have a small plus sign and 3 dots in the top right-hand corner. If we click on the 3 dots or the plus sign, it'll bring up the same menu options. Here I can add a speed dial widget, or I can add a specific contact for somebody that I call all the time, or I can add new group members or add a group. I'll go more into detail on that in a moment. If I come down here to the bottom left and bottom right on my screen, we see here there are 2 small tabs sticking at the bottom of my screen. This is the primary menu options of this application. I can swipe from left to right to pull the tab out on this side, or I can swipe from right to left to pull out the menu on the other side. I'm going to start on the left-hand side over here, and we can see there's a home button here. I can always click the home button to take me right back to the home screen where call history is. If I go below the home key, we have the contacts page. Here we have groups, personal, and corporate. For groups, we can create groups of individuals that we can text. This is not for calling, this is only a text feature. But say we had a group of, for instance, nurses that we called or needed to speak to on a regular basis via text. We could create a group of nurses, and then we would be able to text to an unlimited amount of people that we can add into a group there. For personal, we can add mom, dad, or the kids. And for corporate, if we click over here, we've got everyone within our organization. We can search for particular individuals using the search function at the top, and we can find the user's contact information that we would like to reach. If we swipe the tab back out one more time, we can come down to the next feature, the chat feature, and we can see here we can text individuals in this area. The way we would start a text is by clicking the three dots in the top right-hand corner. We would click New, and at this point in time, we would search for the contact that we would like to speak to. For instance, if I wanted to speak to Sarah, I would just put in her contact info, click her name, and then I could start the text chain at the bottom of the screen here. Moving on, if I go down below chat, we have call history. If we click on call history here, we see a series of arrows at the top. We have one that looks like it's bouncing off. That is going to be missed calls. We have one that's pointed at us. That's going to be incoming calls. And then one pointed away. That's going to be outgoing calls. If we actually click on those arrows, that's going to show us our missed calls, our incoming calls, and our outgoing calls. If we click on the little phone over here, that's going to be call history. That's going to be everything all in one. If we're looking for a particular person that has called us, we could also type their name in and search for them here. Now if I swipe back out and I come down here to voicemail, if I click on voicemail, this would give us the ability to access our voicemail inbox. If we did click on the voicemail key, we could enter the voicemail inbox that we would like to listen to. And then once we enter that information, we would put in the password and we would be able to listen to the voicemails accordingly. Going down below voicemail, we have the dial pad. If I click on the dial pad here, I can dial another user's extension, and I would just simply hit the soft phone key there and it would call them. Or I can dial outside of MiCollab to individual phone numbers if I desire by just hitting the phone number and clicking soft phone. It will add the 9 at the beginning of the phone number automatically. Coming below dial pad, we have settings. For the most part, we ask users to please stay out of the settings section. If I come over to the other tab on the other side here, I can swipe this out and I can see the user for this particular profile is Daniel Robertson. If I come below where the user's image is, I can click the down arrow here. There are multiple different settings here. One says in the meeting, in the office, mobile, not working, a variety of different statuses. Based on what I am currently doing at work, I can set my status to that, and it will show in this top corner here where the image is a green check mark, and if I go on to not working, the check mark would eventually change to a red line in order to show that I am not available. Primarily speaking, most of the time we say that people should be in the office, that way the device is functioning properly. It is also important to note that if I wanted to add my name here or a personal message like I'm out to lunch, I could add that. For instance, just to show here, if I put luncheon and I click return, we can see here in just a moment, right below the name there, it produces the small text that says lunch. So if I search for Daniel in the corporate contact list, I would see that Daniel Robertson is in the office, but he is currently at lunch. If I come down below where the personal message is, there's a soft phone toggle here. That soft phone toggle should always be on. If that soft phone toggle is not on, it means the app will not be connected to network. It will not function correctly. So this soft phone toggle should always be on. It is also important to note if you want to or if you desire, you can click on the image up here and you could click camera and you could take a new picture of yourself and it would populate up here in the image section. If you are searching for a particular individual within your organization, say your licensing on these devices is Nurse 1, Nurse 2, Nurse 3, Nurse 4, and individuals would walk into work and pick up a different device each and every day. In that particular instance, you could put in a particular individual's name. such as Sarah. And then I would just click return, and Sarah's name would populate here. So for instance, if Daniel Robertson wasn't there and it just said Nurse 1, it would say Nurse 1 in the office, Sarah's name. And we would know who's carrying that device, and we would know their status as well. That is the features and functions of the Mitel MiCollab app. Here I'm going to show you how to transfer a call using the MiCollab app. If I click on the three dots here at the very bottom, and for instance, say Thomas wants to speak to Josh, all we would have to do is hit the transfer button here. We would click on the search bar at the top, and we put in Josh. When we found Josh's number, we would simply click on his name, and then at the bottom corner down here, we can hit the outgoing arrow. When we click that, the call is immediately transferred over to Josh. We hope you enjoy your new IP phones, and for further information, please contact Dominion Voice and Data.